All right. So, hello everyone. As you can see and heard, my name is Alex, and judging by the time, this will be a lightning talk. But don't worry, it will be a proper talk. So, as you definitely know, there's a new feature introduced in Zabbix 7.0, which is the browser monitoring. Right? So, what's the idea behind the browser monitoring? Well, just like I'm sure you can guess, the idea is to monitor web pages, right? But then you might think, but okay, Zabbix can actually monitor the pages already. Well, it can, but now it can do it in a more flexible and definitely a more advanced way. Right, so it can have multiple approaches. It can be your classic single URL monitoring. We can just open the page, see if it's available, running, right, looking like it should. Those can be browser click paths. So we can actually, well, as the name suggests, click or make browser click a specific path to get us to a specific page. Then there's, of course, mobile simulation. We do have mobile pages, right? From time to time, we visit them, and we want to ensure our mobile versions are also working. And then HTTPS monitors, which you can technically do even without browser monitoring, but also with browser monitoring if some extra actions are required in before. So how to set up the website monitoring in Zabbix right now? It's actually pretty simple. You will need a Zabbix server, or maybe you will decide to use a proxy. Then you will need a WebDriver, right, for the browser which you are planning to test. If all of them, then all of them. And that's basically it, as simple as that. I do recommend to use the container version of the drivers. It's a lot simpler. And if you want to, by the way, know in all the interesting and I would say even juicy details how to do that and how to set up it, I will be doing the workshop tomorrow. I will do it, show you, and whoever has already signed up, you will have a chance to actually configure it and walk through it. Right, and after that is done, after the connection is configured, we create a browser item, and then we, using, well, JavaScript, more or less, not exactly, but close enough, we configure what browser should do with our page to reach the goal that we are expecting to reach. To make sure it is reaching the goal, not just reporting that it is reaching the goal, we can make screenshots, right, and as many screenshots as you want. And then, of course, on the dashboard, an example, you can review them, right, to see that, yes, indeed, it's the page, and the page looks exactly how you expect it to look, right? There's no incorrectly placed pictures, no strange words, no, I don't know, no hackers actually defaced your page, right? So to verify all of that. And to do that, there's now a lot of new objects and methods, right? I will not go, again, into the details here, but don't forget about the workshop. So in short, there's a browser object. It's basically you choosing which browser you will use to actually open the page, right, to make sure it works in Chrome, Safari, or any other browser you use from day-to-day basis. Elements, right, to specify for Zabbix what to click, which field to populate with information, and so on. Cookie to work with cookies, right? Alerts to work with pop-ups, and get result method to get results, right? To get some data or to check what kind of data can you get. And there's a lot. Again, there's a lot which you can see here, right? We can manage the timeouts. We can, again, specify the browsers, get the errors in case something goes wrong. We can collect the data, performance, page data itself, information from the page, and of course, screenshots, as mentioned. And then click around, send some information, get text, and so on and so on. Tomorrow, you can see what exactly and how exactly it works. So where would you use it, right? You may think like, okay, that all sounds nice, but there's a lot of JavaScript, and it may be a bit hard to configure it for a person who never actually, well, made any scripts. Well, of course, you can use AI, right? It was mentioned quite some times to get on with it. But the greatest thing about the new browser monitoring, we made sure through documentation and through the templates available out of the box that you can monitor any page, well, basically immediately. Right? You just create a host which will represent your page, whichever page that is. You link the website by browser template, and then specify which page you will monitor. So essentially what you do, in example, create a summit agenda page host, you link the template, and then you specify the URLs, right? That's it. For a quick start, that will be enough. You will be able to get the performance data, you will get the screenshots, right? And you can see them in example on the dashboard itself. Easy, fast, it should not take you more than a couple of minutes. Okay, the classics, right? We also did this with the web monitoring, but here it's actually a bit faster and a bit simpler. You might thought it's not, but it's actually simpler. So what if you want to check the login page, right? What if you want to check can the users authenticate, an example to Zabbix Cloud maybe, right? So then again, we will need to create a template, or just a host at least, that will represent our login page, meaning the host name. Then we link it to the host, which will also represent the page, and then just monitor it. So if you want to make your script nice and tidy, right, and we will also do exactly this tomorrow, you can then also create variables in the script. It's a good idea to pass them as the user macros. And here you can see a good example of how we work with it, right? So here we specified some fields, the button path, which is essentially the login button to click, right, using CSS, and then the name of the fields, right? So you can see the strategy type is CSS selector. So basically we specified for the browser, use CSS to find the fields and essentially log in. And then we made it all nice and tidy. So we created parameters in the script, for the script, sorry, so we can use them in the script. And then we specify like, okay, parse those parameters. So for that, you just define JSON parse value. And then we essentially pass them, right? So pass strategy, specify that we will be using CSS, right? Pass the password, and then we, again, specify the password behind, an example, a secret macro, and so on. And this way, you more or less can copy-paste this script for any other login page, right? Just the thing you will need to change is the name of the fields, right? So you just specify a different one here. And tomorrow on the workshop, the script will be there, so if you wish, you can copy it. Or a similar script is available in the documentation, right? So just anyone can do it. Control-C, Control-V, change the name of the fields. Browser monitoring will do everything for you. And if you wish, you can also make a lot of screenshots to verify that the login field is there, the password field is there, that Zabbix actually entered the information, right, and that Zabbix actually successfully logged in, and that each of the pages looks exactly as you wish. What about filling the forms? Well, you can fill any form, of course, as long as it doesn't have the CAPTCHA, right? CAPTCHA is specifically was invented not to allow automated browser working. And here we see a simple example on how to fill in a form. But in this case, we fill in a contact form, right? And we are not using CSS selector, we are using XPath, right? And then we are specifying, well, XPath. If you do not know how to find XPath, there's a huge amount of extensions for any browser, right, which you can find. And then you will need to just right-click, show me XPath to this field. Again, Control-C, Control-V, done, right? You are filling in the fields. You can also verify from time to time, is your Zabbix training certificate is still valid? As you know, it is valid forever, but, well, you never know. Maybe you are worrying too much and you want to check it. So then, of course, you can specify your certificate code and then check if it's valid. Or maybe you want to stock up on the socks, right? Then, of course, you can also click and specify you want to get those 100 socks. And don't forget, of course, that you might want to even provide your credit card details. That's exactly what we are going to do on the workshop tomorrow, so make sure to bring your credit cards. What else? So our page is, of course, not with just a single link, right? We have multiple links, main menu, contacts, forms, all that stuff. Well, we can make Zabbix navigate the page, right? So we just, first, of course, in your head, or in the browser, open the page, click around, see what links you want, then specify what do you want to click, and make Zabbix click. right? So like in this example, we have two ways to get to the training information, right? We can click on the training right here, or, well, it's not very visible, but you can actually also click here, right? And in this case, yeah, it's a bit of a different example. We go to the training. This will open this pop-up menu. We click on the training application form, and then we actually subscribe to the training. So what do? We again use XPath. We specify find the training, right? Then find the text which says training application form. Here it is, training application form. And then again find the specialist training and find which is the one that is in GMT +9 example, right? And Zabbix will follow it up until it gets the goal. Including if-else scenario, so now those are possible. That's a very big change, right? So if one of the links does not work, you can try to use the other one, just to see, again, if it's a mistake with all the links or with one link, and then fix one link, or again, all the links. But okay, this is all more or less statuses, right? Checking if something is working, available, and so on. What about getting the data and then maybe detecting the problems? So then, of course, you need to decide which data you want from the page, right? Maybe you want to check if all the merchandise is available, right? Maybe you want to check, can people order the tickets? Something else, depends on what your page offers. So then again, you make Zabbix navigate to the source of information and you just parse the page. So in this example specifically, we went to Jira, so it started with the first slides where we logged in, and after that, we specified that we want to find project ZBX Next, right? And we want to find all the ZBX Next that were or not yet resolved, right? And after that, we find all of them essentially, and then to parse to make a nice JSON out of them. And you get all the ZBX Next. And this is what we will do on the workshop tomorrow. So again, make sure to join. And right, and then we get the date. So we don't want all the ZBX Next. There's a huge amount of ZBX Next, resolved ones, unresolved ones, and so on, right? So in this case, we also check when they were created, right? So we can monitor which are the latest ZBX Next that were created and get an alert when there is a new ZBX Next. So in example, the dev team can actually see what was created, what are the latest interest, or maybe it was actually a bug and it should be, again, changed to ZBX. And there we go, a simple trigger, right? We just check what is time now, right? We get the date of the ticket creation and get notified if it was created in the last 24 hours. And you can also send the screenshots, but not exactly very straightforward way to send the screenshots yet. I'm sure it will be there eventually. But as now you can make screenshots, and as you can guess, screenshots are stored in the database, right? We can use API to get them out of the database. So this is a simple approach, right? We use HTTP item in this case to get the host and get the item ID for which we want to get the screenshot, right? And there we go, history get, just get us the latest screenshot, and you can get and send to yourself by using the email, because we are using HTML to just get that base 64, convert it back to the picture, write in Zabbix, again, right, that's a Zabbix media form, and now we can send which ZBX Next were created. Those are, of course, already not the latest one, presentation was made in advance, but again, you can send to yourself the newest ones as often as you need. So, okay, for the last part, you may think, okay, this definitely requires from me to understand what the browser is doing. How does it look like? So you can actually do that. You can actually see with the browser eyes, if I may say so, by using, again, the drivers in the container. Right, so each container comes with no VNC, the web drivers one, and you can easily see in your browser, right, using no VNC, what Zabbix is doing. So it will need a bit of a moment that it will start, and this is always done by Zabbix, right? So it's not me clicking, I promise. You can even see automated software, and tomorrow we will also check how to make it, but trust me, it's very, very simple. So Zabbix here is doing exactly that, getting the ZBX Next, right? So here's the ZBX Next sorted by date, and the list is there. Now it's parsing the page until it can get the date. And that's it, right? We build a dashboard, we put the most important data, screenshots, tickets on that dashboard, and then monitor which ZBX next was created. And again, all of that can easily be reformed to use for your goals. So make sure to visit the workshop tomorrow so you can get all those template, well, hosts technically, which were created, and use them in your projects. Thank you for your attention.